Tonight, big news out of the Oklahoma State Supreme Court. The justices voted 8-1, siding with the city of Tulsa. Breaking news out of the Oklahoma State Supreme Court. The justices voted 8-1, siding with the city of Tulsa in a lawsuit seeking damages from the 1921 Tulsa race massacre. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. I'm Naomi Kidd. Karen is off. The lawsuit was first filed back in 2020. News Oklahoma's Steph Mansion spent some time on Greenwood today to get reaction to the outcome.
They were going to do reparation the easy way, it would have already been done.
T's Barbershop is the longest standing business on Black Wall Street since its rebirth after the Tulsa race massacre. Owner Willie Zelle says over the last 40 years of working this stretch of downtown, he's always known what came before him.
Those people that were here suffered a terrible loss, and I think it's affected the city down through the years.
Over 100 years ago on this same street, a white mob decimated the community. It's reported that up to 300 Black Tulsans were killed and over 30 blocks of the city were devastated. The few living survivors filed a lawsuit in 2020 seeking reparations for the trauma they lived through. Leslie Benningfield Randall, Viola Fletcher, and Hughes Van Ellis saying the city caused a public nuisance all those years ago that continues on to this day. A Tulsa judge dismissed the case last year, but the survivors took the case to the state's highest court. After years of deliberation, Fletcher, Randall, and the family of Van Ellis' fight came to a defeated close Wednesday. The Oklahoma Supreme Court voting to uphold that 2023 dismissal in an 8-1 ruling. Sells tells me he has prayed for a vote of support from the court. Now, though, he hopes someone will bring them justice some way, somehow.
We're hoping, trusting, and praying that the city, the state, or somebody in Oklahoma would give reparation to those survivors.
And Steph, this lawsuit started nearly 4 years ago, back in 2020. I've been following this case closely, talked with the lead attorney several times. I know DeMario Solomon-Simmons has been really passionate about getting justice for these survivors. Have you gotten a chance to talk with him today?
You know, we did reach out to him. We haven't heard back from him yet, but we've got other statements we've heard from the city in a statement saying in part that they respect the court's decision, and through several projects like the Graves investigation and development project, they remain committed to working with and providing resources to support North Tulsa and Greenwood communities.
I also heard from State Representative Regina Goodwin today. She responded calling this despicable. We'll be sure to let you know when we do hear back from the lead attorney in this case. Steph, thanks so much for your reporting. Thank you.
Whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today. But if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace.
Off on your own, off on your own. What's up, family? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Smash up the likes, ladies and gentlemen, right now. I need you to please smash up the likes. My family on Rumble, I need you to smash up the likes. My family on X, I need you to hit that share button. Like this beat some more. What's going on? We are live, and I'm coming at you with 5, ladies and gentlemen. It is another exciting edition of Random Topic Thursdays, the hottest live stream in the cosmos of social media. And we're going to be talking about a couple of topics that are near and dear to my heart. Of course, the main news and the video that you saw, courtesy of KJRH, and that was fair use, by the way. We are going to be discussing the Tulsa, Oklahoma race riot and what happened obviously today, where 9 justices on an 8-1 vote sided with the district court out in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where the Tulsa race riot happened at Greenwood, Orchard, and Pine, where the Gap Band legendary R&B group, the Gap Band. And matter of fact, before we get into that topic, it is Black Music Month, and I think rather we celebrate Black Music Month, and we're talking about this just hit me now. We're talking about Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Greenwood Orchard Pine. I think we have no choice but to shout out the Gap Band for tonight's Black Music Month moment. Now, all of you know, especially my old heads out there, y'all know who Uncle Charlie Wilson is. And the Gap Band, obviously, if you were a kid growing up in the 80s in particular, although the Gap Band came out in the late 70s when they had songs like Oops Upside Your Head and Early in the Morning, Party Train, Outstanding, which is a big Saturday morning hit for us. That's the Charlie Wilson and the Gap Band is who we cleaned up to in the morning. Everybody talks about Gladys Knight. No, fuck that. In New Orleans, it's Charlie Wilson and Frankie Beverly. We grew up with. But the Gap Band is from Greenwood Orchard and Pine. Burn Rubber, Party Train, Humpin'. You Dropped a Bomb on Me. I could go on. That is who the Gap Band is, ladies and gentlemen. And they started out in the historic Greenwood Orchard Pine neighborhood where your 1921 massacre occurred. And I titled this video today as Justice Delayed, Justice Denied. But I want to shout out the Gap Band since it is Black Music Month, because those brothers who started, and we're talking about brother Charlie Wilson, who is still around, Ronnie Wilson and Robert Wilson are now deceased. But from 1967 to 2010, those brothers were putting out hits, and their major hits came with the label Total Experience Records. And there were only two major acts that were signed by Lonnie Simmons. He was the label founder and producer. He also was a songwriter. Yarborough and Peoples, who had Don't You Stop the Music. They actually, I think, toured with the Gap Band. They were the opening act. But they were brought over there by Charlie Wilson, believe it or not. But Charlie Wilson and his brothers are legends, and we honor them tonight because I don't think Uncle Charlie really gets his due. He's had like his second career now as a solo artist, especially My Name is Charlie, Last Name Wilson. There Goes My Baby, Beautiful, which was featured on Snoop Dogg's song back in 2004. Yeah, he's been he's also did Kanye West's song, Turn Off the Lights. So he's been around. So Uncle Charlie has been killing it. He's been appreciated by the younger generation. So we're going to salute, ladies and gentlemen, the Gap Band for your Black Music moment. So shout out to him. And let's shout out to our brother and friend, Sean James. How you doing this evening, Sean?
I'm all right, Gavin. How are you?
I'm doing fine, man. You got something you want to plug in right quick?
Well, my new books in the SJS Direct 2024 catalog are now available in paperback and digital format at Amazon.com and other online booksellers. And you can pick up your copies today at all of those digital booksellers. And I'm hoping you guys will pick up a few for your weekend reading.
Very good, Sean. Sean, yeah, please support Sean. He needs a vacation real quick. And I hope you all will also support me by buying tickets if you're in the New Orleans area, by buying tickets to the Father's Day Laugh-a-thon. I shared it earlier. We're going to have a hot comedy show. It's going to be all laughs with Sean Favorite as your headliner and other featured acts, great acts in the Louisiana area. Chef 24/7, Wayne Ransom and Harry Landry. They're going to tear it up. I can't wait to be there. That's 8 o'clock at the Verdict. It's starting on time, ladies and gentlemen. It's not CPT. Get there at 8, please. Get there before 8, I'd rather. Get your tickets right now to the comedy show. Doors open at 7. Shows start at 8. Yeah. Oh, man. Only if my lining was like this again. Damn. So, Sean. That's a little humor right there, guys. So, let's talk about it. Sean, you saw the video I played earlier regarding the Tulsa, Oklahoma race riot. I happen to know Demario Simmons. I met him a couple of years ago. Seemed like a nice brother who's out in Oklahoma. And it seemed like he tried very hard as the lead attorney to try and bring justice to one of the survivors is now deceased, but the remaining survivors who are present, who are still around, in particular, you had, I'll put their picture up. Particular, you have here in the middle, that's Leslie Benningfield Randall, and this is Mrs. Randall on the right, and that's Viola Fletcher, Mrs. Fletcher on the left in the middle. You see there, I think the gentleman next to her probably is her son or grandson, I'm not sure. But both of these now, there was another survivor by the name of Hughes Van Ellis, who died last year at the age of 102. Miss Randall is 109 and Miss Fletcher is 110 years old. Now, this was the Tulsa race riots were over 100 years ago in 1921, correct? And so they have lived essentially for a century, more than a century, with an act of terror that was displayed on their that was dropped on their neighborhoods, literally. Bombs were dropped on an American city because racist ass white folks, crackers, I'm just gonna call it like it is, because they were jealous, they were upset that a black neighborhood was thriving. Black Wall Street was doing business with France. There was talks of them doing trades with France. Foreign nations were talking with them, because I believe out in Tulsa, if I'm not mistaken, they even had a black-owned airport, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. But they had black post office, black businesses, movie theaters, everything you can name, destroyed in a matter of moments. And a Supreme Court has made a decision that they will not be awarding any monies to these families, no reparations. And a massacre that killed over 300 African Americans by a white mob. The attorney filed a lawsuit under the Oklahoma public nuisance statute, and it still hangs over the neighborhood. And he tried to argue that this was a public nuisance. And what the court ruled was essentially, the justices ruled that the plaintiff's grievances, including any lingering economic and social impact of the massacre, though legitimate, do not fall within the scope of our state's public nuisance statute. The continuing blight alleged within the Greenwood community born out of the massacre implicates generational societal inequities that can only be resolved by policymakers, not the courts. This is what the ruling said. And he said what happened, I'm talking about Mr. Simmons. He said it was a state-sponsored atrocity, and that ending the case without a trial is a blow to the notion of racial justice. They plan to file a petition to ask the court to reconsider its decision, and they've also asked the Department of Justice to open an investigation. But here's the thing, remember 3 years ago, President Biden was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, if I'm not correct. You had those congressmen, a few Congress people out there. I think Kamala Harris was out there. They were all out there. Remember, they were up there doing the party. It was party time. Remember that?
Yeah.
They were dancing. Members of Congress dancing to the Congo drums. What did they give to the people? Why didn't they propose anything? A Tulsa massacre survivor. This is Miss Fletcher. She testified before Congress because she saw the atrocity back in 2021. What did they promise her? What did they ask to give her? You say the court says the policymakers, but it's the court's job to interpret the law set by the policymakers. You can make a decision as a Supreme Court. This is the same these Supreme Courts. Now, this was the state Supreme Court. They always make decisions. That's BS. They've always been known. Courts always make decisions about laws. They can strike down a law of a state and say it's unconstitutional. How do you think homosexual marriage became legal in the United States? The people in California voted against, when it came on the ballot, they voted against gay marriage. 60%. The Supreme Court of California reversed the decision. So courts reverse stuff all the time. So it's not just up to the policymakers. You can make those interpretations if you want. But listen to what Miss Fletcher said. She still remembers. Fair use, by the way.
I'm the daughter of Lucinda Ellis and John Wesley Ford of Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm the sister of Hughes Van Ellis, who's also here today. I'm a survivor of the Tulsa Race Massacre. 2 weeks ago, I celebrated my 107th birthday. Today, I'm visiting Washington, D.C. for the first time in my life. I'm here seeking justice, and I'm asking my country to acknowledge what happened in Tulsa in 1921. The night of the massacre, I was awakened by my family. My parents and 5 siblings were there. I was told we had to leave, and that was it. I will never forget the violence of the white mob when we left our home. I still see Black men being shot, Black bodies lying in the street. I still smell smoke and see fire. I still see Black businesses being burned. I still hear airplanes flying overhead. I hear the screams. I have lived through the massacre every day. Our country may forget this history, but I cannot. I will not, and other survivors do not, and our descendants do not. When my family was forced to leave Tulsa, I lost my chance of an education. I never finished school past the 4th grade. I have never made much money in my country. State and city took a lot from me. Despite this, I spent time supporting the war effort in the shipyards of California, but most of my life I was a domestic worker serving white families. I never made much money, but to this day I can barely afford my everyday needs. All the while the city of this Tulsa have unjustly used the names and stories of victims like me to enrich myself and its white allies through the 30s million raised by the Tulsa Centennial Commissioner while I was continued to live in poverty. I am a 107-year-old and have never seen justice. I pray that one day I will. I have been blessed with a long life and have seen the best and the worst of this country.
There's more. You know what? I'm going to let the elder talk. I'm sorry.
I think about the terror, horror inflicted upon Black people in this country every day. This subcontinued committee has the power to lead us down a better path. I'm asking that my country acknowledge what has been happened to me, the traumas and the pain, the loss, and I ask the survivors and descendants to be given the chance to seek justice, open the door. All of you know how easy it is to deny that a violent mob threatened your lives and took your property. For 70 years, the city of Tulsa and its Chamber of Commerce told us that the massacre didn't happen, like we didn't see it with our own eyes. You have me here right now. You see Mother Randall, you see my brother Hughes Van Ellis. We live this history and we can't ignore it. It's our lives with us. Oh my goodness. We lost everything that day, our homes, our churches, our newspapers, our theaters, our lives. Greenwood represented all the best of what was possible for Black people in America and for all the people.
Thank you very much. We appreciate very much your testimony.
Unfortunately, Ms. Fletcher has not seen justice. Sean, take it away.
Well, this is just a pure travesty of justice. And I say it's a travesty of justice that we have a government that'll sit there and want to put up a plaque to commemorate the race riots that happened that destroyed Black Wall Street, but won't want to compensate the last 3 survivors of that tragedy. And that shows the hypocrisy of our democracy, that we will go out and make an empty symbolic gesture with a plaque to commemorate this tragedy, but we won't compensate those survivors with tangible financial resources to allow them some comfort at the end of their lives. And that just shows how egregious this country still is as related to its racism, as related to its ongoing white supremacy, in that you don't want to give tangible reparations to these foundational Black Americans who lost everything, all due to the lies of a white woman that was perpetrated to destroy that Black community, all because it had the audacity to exist and be a living, breathing refutation of all the lies that white supremacy told about Black people, that Black people were lazy, incompetent, and stupid, projections that the white supremacist projected onto Black people as related to maintaining his institution of slavery and having that false sense of superiority over Black people. They would rather maintain the ideals of their smooth world rather than acknowledge a town like Black Wall Street can exist. And what's even more egregious is that you did these survivors dirty. Again, this court can go out here and say they won't do anything to compensate these survivors, but they'll sit there and have the Biden administration post up a plaque to talk about how it commemorates this whole destruction of a Black town. And again, just shows you how sick and twisted people are as related to not looking to do right by foundational Black Americans in this country. But now, but we see that they don't want to give us reparations. We need to go and take our respect by not participating in this 2024 presidential election, because if they can't give us tangibles, then we don't need to go vote for any of these candidates. Moreover, on the local level, if you're going to vote, make sure you find out who was behind this and make sure that you vote these individuals out and at any level of the election. And again, if they can't give you tangibles in exchange for your vote and they cannot support empowering Black people, then it's up to the Black people to take their power and take their respect from a government that continues to flagrantly disrespect foundational Black Americans. It's time for us to stop trying to talk to those who do not respect us and start taking our respect through action, and take our respect through action by not participating in these elections. Because if all you've got to offer me is a plaque when you are sitting there reaping the benefits from destroying a Black community, a living, breathing Black community that would have kept Black people off of the welfare rolls that these racists say Black people were on in the 70s, which they were never on because we had our own Black businesses and our own Black economy, but they didn't want that because they wanted to maintain their codependency. Well, it's time for us to get ready for some interdependence and get ready for interdependence by taking action, by saying, okay, since they don't want to support the Black people getting reparations, get your votes from those migrants and those illegals that you're so all out here against. Go get your votes from those people. Since you don't want to give Black people anything for our vote, we tell you to go get your votes from somebody else because we're not looking to get you elected again.
No, we're not. But I think they're going to be people, of course, and you know this, that are going to still show up to the polls, that will vote, that will leverage. Basically, it's not just the fact of, it's not so much voting for these people. It's the fact of keep voting for them time and time again, and they produce no
That's called
results.
insanity.
Yes. The definition of insanity is repeating the same mistake and not learning. And the fact that they have known, remember, they covered this up. They never told us in school about Black Wall Street. I had to learn from the elders, from other people, the researchers, the grassroots about Black Wall Street. This was something that was never taught in school. They never tell you about it, and they hid this. And Ms. Fletcher even talked about how they tried to hide it and deny it. And until 1920, about 2020, when the George Floyd situation kicked up, is when it goes public that, yes, we did this and that. Yes, this happened. After all of the people who participated in this massacre, in this lynching, a mass lynching, basically those people have died. They've protected them just like they protected that witch who was behind brother Emmett Till's murder. That had a role in it. What's her name again? It's on the tip of my tongue. Carolyn Bryan Dunham, her. Yeah, they protected her. They had the damn arrest warrant in the clerk of court's office for over 60 years in the archives, and they never executed it. What's going on, Shauna B? And I saw you earlier, Cece. I'm sorry. Happy birthday to you. Y'all say happy birthday to Cece. Many more to come. So you're a Gemini. Yeah, Mom's birthday was last Friday. So, yeah, shout out to y'all. You tied in with Prince. Wee! Squeak! No, but I had to take a break. So, I had to deviate from that because I didn't address it. But, yeah, it's the definition of insanity, like Sean's saying. But, you know, and look, I was listening to the radio today as I'm bringing I was driving this morning on, was it the local channel, the R&B station, and they're talking about how you can't. I wonder how you can't vote for Trump. You know, Steve Harvey was talking about that. Y'all got to support Biden. You know, Biden was doing this dance and stuff. How Kamala Harris and I think it was Kirk Franklin were doing this little cute dance at the White House when they had Billy Porter looking like Jesus Christ Superstar. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that on Professor Black Truth's channel.
Yeah.
That minstrel show.
This picture here, hold on. That. It said Biden appears frozen. And he said nothing about it. I wonder what he's going to have to say because he went to Tulsa. I know they're not going to give them reparations, y'all. We were depending on the wrong thing. We're waiting and getting it the wrong way, going at it the wrong way by begging. Power does what it wants. And we saw that today with this decision. I'm praying that the people in Oklahoma can get justice. And I think the attorney Attorney Simmons has gotten closer than what others have done in the past, but it's a long fought road. Shout out to all my people in the chat. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I'm going to move on to our next topic. Sean, I want to talk about this, of course, since we speak on the topic of Biden. What do you think? Hunter Biden, of course, was convicted. This was a couple of days ago. He was found guilty in his federal gun trial, 3 different counts. And count 1 was a false statement. Count 2 was a false statement on his trans record. And count 3 was illegal possession of a firearm. He was found guilty on all charges. They asked President Biden about what he thinks, and he made his first comments of it. And he stated that he's not going to pardon Hunter. So I want y'all to listen carefully. Fair
used
use, by the
force
way.
to allow Ukraine to fire U.S. weapons into Russia. Given the reported successes, would you consider further expanding the parameters on U.S. weapons into Russia, even despite your concerns about escalation? And on the news from home, you're going through something that so many American families go through, the intersection of addiction and the criminal justice system, but you're not like most families. Was your son able to get a fair trial? Do you believe the Justice Department operated independently of politics? And for President...
Let me answer your question. You ask his question, okay? With regard to the first question, it is clear that the near abroad, meaning just across the line of the border with Russia and Ukraine, that it makes a lot of sense for Ukraine to be able to take out or combat what is coming across that border. In terms of long-range weapons into the interior of Russia, we have not changed our position on that sort. With regard to the question regarding the family, I'm extremely proud of my son, Hunter. He has overcome an addiction. He's one of the brightest, most decent men I know. And I am satisfied that I'm not going to do anything. Like I said, I abide by the jury decision. I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
So he said he's not going to pardon his son. And now look, think about this. If Donald Trump does win the presidency, do you think the day before Trump gets sworn in again, that Biden won't pardon his son?
Oh, he's going to pull that swerve.
He's going to definitely pull that. And I don't blame him. Nobody would want to be in prison with Trump as president. Not a Democrat.
Within minutes of the jury handing down their verdict, Hunter Biden was leaving the Wilmington courthouse, hand in hand with First Lady Jill Biden. And then last night, as his father, the president, was arriving in Wilmington, Hunter was there to meet him. The president, who has said he will not offer his son a pardon, issuing a statement offering his support without attacking the system that could send his son to jail. Jill and I love our son, and we are proud of the man he is today, adding, I accept the outcome of this case and will continue to respect the judicial process as Hunter considers an appeal. The decision drawing a fairly muted response from Republicans, possibly removing a popular GOP talking point about a double standard of justice for the president's family. After former President Trump, who was convicted of 34 felony counts of his own, has often claimed that the Justice Department has been weaponized against him.
I just went through a rigged trial in New York.
The special counsel in charge of the Hunter Biden investigation arguing his team prosecuted this case without any political pressure.
No one in this country is above the law. Everyone must be accountable for their actions, even this defendant.
Inside the jury room, it did not take long to come to the conclusion that Hunter was guilty on all 3 felony charges related to possession of a firearm while using narcotics. A female juror telling USA Today she did not want to find Hunter Biden guilty because, quote, he needed help, adding, in my opinion, this was a waste of taxpayer dollars, but saying the evidence led to a conviction. A different member of the jury telling NBC an initial poll of jurors showed a 6-6 split, but when they came back the following day, they quickly moved to a conviction. Juror number 10 telling NBC Hunter's powerful family played no role in their decision-making process. He asked us to conceal his identity.
It was not politically motivated, so politics never played in anything that we said in the jury room.
Now, First Lady Jill Biden did not make it back into the courtroom to hear the verdict read, but she was in the courthouse shortly after. Sources telling NBC News she cried when she met Hunter after he left the courtroom. Savannah?
All right, Ryan, thank you. NBC's senior legal correspondent Laura Jarrett with us now. Laura, so let's start with this case in Delaware. What is the likelihood of prison time for Hunter Biden?
So the reality check here is even though the maximum is 10 years, it's unlikely that the judge is likely going to impose that, given the fact that as of right now, he doesn't have a criminal history. He's never been convicted before. There was nothing in his past. And that's one of the things that the judge would use in gauging that. It's going to be completely up to her discretion. But we should know, people do get prison time for this. In fact, usually 90% of people get prison time for this.
And there are federal sentencing guidelines that they're not going to be the statutory maximum of 10 years. What do they call for? I mean, the judge has total discretion.
It's more around the neighborhood of like a year, 15 months.
Okay. This is not the end of the legal road for him. He faces tax evasion charges in September in Los Angeles.
9 different counts of tax evasion. Essentially, the government has accused of him of spending his money lavishly on everything but his taxes. Now, he still can plead guilty in that case. There's still an opportunity here. I'm not suggesting that he will, but at least that's still on the table. And if he doesn't, and if he goes to trial and he's convicted in that case, yesterday's conviction is going to be used against him because then he does have a criminal history. And so that's what ups the ante for him come September.
Now, the president was asked point blank, will you pardon your son? He said no. He was not asked, would you ever commute the sentence for your son? There's a distinction. Will you explain it?
Yeah, so if he was to commute the sentence, say he was given a prison term of, let's call it in the neighborhood of a year, he could reduce that sentence by commuting the sentence. Now, to nothing, if he wanted to. Now, again, this is completely within the president's discretion to do that.
And he hasn't weighed in one way or the other.
Not on that yet.
All right, Laura, thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8.
So he can commute the sentence. Were you surprised, Sean, that he got convicted?
I was a little surprised, but the whole thing is when I looked at the law, he was definitely going to get convicted because we have a record of him applying for this gun while he knowingly had a record. So basically he did break the law here and broke the law, I believe, intentionally as related to the law. Because again, even if you're on drugs, you know if you have a record or not, if you're going to apply for a gun. So definitely Hunter Biden was going to wind up getting convicted because of the paper trail that he left.
Yeah. Speaking of which, let's bring in this brother. I see him here. King, y'all haven't seen him in a while. Shout out to him. King Bernard. Brother Bernard, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm
Doing
doing
all right?
fine, man. I haven't heard from you in a while. How you been?
Been all right. A lot of things, crazy thing going on down here in Virginia, but I mean, hey man, it is what it is. Hey, graduations, a lot of things going on. I see you talking about Hunter Biden. Actually, I wanted to bring up something about that. All that stuff just.
You can go ahead. Just
bring it.
2 minutes.
I'm gonna bring it to you. Like, this is all a big distraction because I was like, one thing they're trying to get Biden out the way anyway. They already been talking about possibly commuting this sentence anyway. So he's gonna. This was the whole thing just to make it look like what happened with Trump was, pretty much like, oh yeah, we all good. Well, yesterday, while all this was going on, what happened? Didn't they find Merrick Garland guilty of contempt of Congress yesterday? Yes. And today, come to think about it, the real thing with Biden, nobody cared about this trial with Hunter Biden because the real thing was about Hunter Biden with his dealing with Ukraine. It had nothing to do with this. They wouldn't care about this gun thing. The real thing with him, registered foreign agent, and just today, Biden signed a 10-year agreement with Zelensky of his commitment to Ukraine. So while all that was going on over there, they ran a flea flicker over here. So
a 10-year commitment to Ukraine. So
yes.
They approved like $50 billion, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, today.
They have no money to give black folks for reparations, huh?
Yeah, just today. And I was saying, that's what I was going to say. I was listening earlier before I got on. You're talking about the thing in Tulsa. Well, guess what? Hey, look, man. You're talking about reparations. Well, look like Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, they got all the reparations. They got everything. As a matter of fact, these illegals, 11 million of them that they trying to give amnesty to with this fake border patrol thing, that's what people need to be. Where's the money go? Always going to them. Hey, man, they've been giving these immigrants a lot of money lately. As a matter of fact, Sean, you were in New York City today. I don't know if you ride the subway or not, but Kathy Hochul said that she's going to try to ban face masks on the subway to prevent an anti-Semitic attack. So go for it.
Yeah, I heard about that, and only doing that because certain people of a certain religion were getting attacked. Meanwhile, black people were getting attacked on the train, and she didn't want to do anything about it.
Exactly.
Black man got killed on a train, choked out.
Yeah.
Somebody had mental issues. So they tried to defend that white boy.
Just trying to figure out what Eric Adams doing these days. Last time I checked on Eric Adams, he went to go defend Miss Hochul, by the way.
Yeah, Eric man. He'll do anything to serve some tea cakes and coffee to Mr. Cassie.
Yeah. You heard that they're trying to revoke. Speaking of Eric Adams, they were trying to revoke Diddy. I think that Diddy's key to the city, and Howard University announced they're going to actually try and pull his degrees. Just randomly talking about it. I just got a question. How you physically going to go in a man's house and take his degrees?
It's all more theater.
The question is, why did he get him in the first place?
Yeah.
Because he gave him money. That's why.
Yeah. They look, Eric Adams gave him the key to the city about a year ago. Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about. Now he wants to revoke it. But
sorry, you can't revoke it. You gave it to him.
Yeah. You gave it to him, man. You screwed up. Smash up the likes, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you donate to my Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle. And I don't really have any more on Biden, but I do want to talk about this the last 15 minutes to tonight's broadcast. Please make sure, ladies and gentlemen, you support the channel. We're not monetized on YouTube and Rumble as of yet. YouTube has been scrubbing our channel. They've also, y'all already know what's been going on.
They've been real bad with censorship, man.
Yes, and somebody's got to hit them legally.
Speaking of that, I'm glad you mentioned that censorship, because just a week ago, I think I sent an article maybe to Sean, I'm not sure. Matter of fact, no, let me tell you, I put this article out on Hunter Biden, and guess what they said? You will not believe this. This is crazy. They said, and they told me I can't go live for 20 days now, but it was 30 days, right? It had the information, and the FBI confirmed it was his laptop too, by the way. But this was out. They saying because the picture in the article had nudity, you can't put pornographic content on the internet. Well, this was a Gateway Pundit article. Now I'm like sitting there saying, Sean, Gavin, don't we see? I mean, Queen Amadan Shakur, just posted a video yesterday, a woman twerking on top of a daggone building. I mean, come on, man. So this is laughable that they would say, "Oh, this article got pornographic content. We're gonna ban you. We're gonna ban you. We're gonna live for 30 days." Well, hello, Sean. Don't you see almost porn on the internet every day with pictures of women? These pictures be posting.
That's what we see. And the whole thing is they use this because they don't want to see black empowerment content on
Go
YouTube.
to YouTube. Yeah, go to Twitter and you'll see that.
Yeah.
That was on top of a building. That woman was twerking.
Yeah. Crazy stuff, man.
Can you send me the link?
Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, I think I got it somewhere in there. Yeah, her and what's the girl name? Yeah, because Queen Amadan is good. Let me find it. I sent it to you, man. Yeah, it's just, hey man, like I tell people, this thing is getting more like a clown show every day. Don't you think it's a clown show, brother John?
It is it's a clown show. And speaking of clown shows, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. We're going to get into this clown show of a trial that's been going out in Atlanta. Those that have been in Fulton County, Fannie's territory. We're going to talk about it. Brian, so what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? As you know, there's the RICO trial that it's been launched by the Fulton County District Attorney's Office against Young Thug and his rap label, I think YSL. It's claiming that the rapper has been engaged in basically mafia conduct, just a criminal organization. RICO, of course, is the racketeering criminal organization statute. That's what RICO stands for. And that was done to go out. Now, states have RICO statutes that they have adopted, but, RICO laws were put in place to go after the mob. So racketeer influenced and corrupt organizations. Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. That's what RICO means. At least I had the first word right.
I sent it to you. See message.
I didn't get it. All right. So it took a dramatic turn, Sean. I want everybody to look at this. Judge Ural Glanville, who is actually he's an Army advocate judge as well, from what I looked at. A respected person in the bar in Georgia. He had been asked to recuse himself several times in this case. He's denied it. He's denied mistrials that have happened. The trial has been a circus. And it took a turn for the worse this past Tuesday because Judge Glanville had actually held on Monday, he held Young Thug's lawyer in contempt of court because he asked for a mistrial due to the fact that Brian Steele found out that the judge had an ex parte conversation with a material witness when he was not present, meaning the attorney was not present. And it was done with the prosecutors present, however, the prosecution. So at the request of the prosecution, and Steele believed that this was a violation of not only professional rules of conduct, but judicial rules of conduct, I take it. And he felt and also just depriving his client of his constitutional rights of a fair trial. So he objected. And the judge was more upset that Steele found out about the meeting than he was about why, and then giving an answer as to why he had this meeting. So because Steele didn't want to turn over the name and the leak, he held him in contempt for 21 days and threw him in jail. Steele actually asked to be put in jail with his client so that way he could go over and prepare the case. The Court of Appeals in Georgia actually granted an emergency hearing with a bond. Basically, while he has this appeal pending to the contempt on an emergency, he does not have to report in jail.
Court,
I want y'all to listen
to look into the
fair use
appropriateness. Mr. Copeland, to my observations around your courtroom, outside your courtroom, breaks, is surrounded by several members of law enforcement, the district attorney's office, and prosecutors, potentially other persons. I don't know why a sitting
y'all here
oath is.
Can y'all hear? All right.
Prosecutors during breaks, mornings, afternoons. It's totally inappropriate. There are people who are in your court's door. There's a double door where the court sits to its right that aligns with the witness chair. And I noticed people standing there in law enforcement while Mr. Copeland is testifying. He's making eye contact with them. I don't know if they're his brother. My point to you is this: what gives anybody the right to surround a witness? He's not in custody. And bring a witness. I'm sure Mr. Copeland didn't say to the prosecutors, I don't know this, Your Honor. So if you think him wrong, then just strike it from your memory. But I'm sure he didn't say, hey, you guys want to hang out in this room a little while? So I believe that he is being led on a tether by the prosecutors, and it is coercion. It is inappropriate. And why would anybody not be recording everything he said? And why do I have to get it in drips and drabs? So I am objecting to the tactics of the Fulton County District Attorney's Office and whomever else they may have employed with a citizen, regardless of what the court may think of him or the prosecutors think.
I don't have any thoughts. So please don't put that in. Please don't put that in the ether. Okay, but that's what you just said, sir.
Ether is
okay.
The court wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it either. So why is it happening?
I have no interest other than I'm a referee.
Well, you're the referee who spoke with the witness without my presence.
Mr. Steele, we're not gonna get in there right now.
Well,
Okay.
my point is, how is he being treated here? And why don't I have all this? And why is this going on? What an unfair trial for Mr. Williams. Think about it. If you were accused, Your Honor, and the judge met with this witness with the prosecutor, and you sat next to me and Mr. Adams, you would say to us, what kind of case is this? Now he's being surrounded with all this law enforcement. My point is,
Your Honor, we're going to object that this
is not going to be interrupted.
Mr. Steele, hold on. No, but you're Mr. Steele? Mr. Steele?
Yes, sir. What?
Okay.
I want to finish. I'm making a record for the court to understand.
Well, Mr. Steele.
I've never been interrupted in a court except for this one. You
Well, you know, but the challenge is in this point in time is that some of the things that you have said at certain points in time are not appropriate.
It's not true.
Okay, well, that's the court's.
Court is wrong.
Well, you know, you have everybody has an opinion, and it can certainly be reviewed at the appropriate time. But finish up so you can go ahead and make your record.
This is a record. This is important.
Okay, but it's your allegation and assertion, sir. Okay, so. Well, we don't know that. We don't know whether or not they're true.
Going on. Every time Mr. Copeland comes in the courtroom or out of the court, he's escorted by a DA's office investigator. You see that? This court is observant. You're not just sitting there in a cloud. You see exactly what's going on. You hear the prosecutor tell you, we were in a room with Mr. Copeland and he said, why?
Okay.
Why do I have to bring it up? You should be bringing it up. This is crazy. This is like communist Russia. Mr. Williams is having the worst trial. So I'm moving, again, to stop intimidating the witness by the prosecution, leave people alone, and stop accusing. You've allowed the prosecutor Love to accuse me of misconduct.
Oh, but you've also accused her of hold on. You have accused her of misconduct as well. And remember what I told you about your professional responsibility. Remember what I told you about your, and she's going to take me down as opposed to you. So when I start talking, stop talking, please.
Wow. They've asked to actually his attorney, Brian Steele, who has an attorney, Ashley Merchant. She came in the courtroom after Steele was sent to jail, and she made a motion to recuse the judge. She felt, especially, but how the way the trial has been conducted, it certainly has been run like a circus. For me as an attorney, ladies and gentlemen, I could tell you, y'all flat out, I think this judge conducted this trial in an inappropriate manner. To have conversations with a material witness without the defense lawyer present, but the prosecutors present at the prosecution, excuse me, I said prosecutors, but really prosecution, meaning that whole team present, I think was inappropriate. I believe it was inappropriate. To avoid the appearance of impropriety, if the judge had the defense attorney there present with the witness in the chambers along with the prosecutions, that's fair. I could see that. He did it without any member of the defense being there, which is the problem. I'm gonna play another video. This is from Atlanta 11 Live. Again, fair use.
One of Atlanta rapper Young Thug's lawyers is avoiding a 20-day jail sentence, at least for now. Earlier this week, the judge presiding over the YSL trial held Brian Steele in contempt. And then yesterday, the state Supreme Court weighed in.
11 Alive's Erica Murphy is checking in with one of the lawyers on the case to find out how all of this is impacting the trial.
It's been 18 months since a young Slime Life RICO trial started up here inside the Fulton County Courthouse. Aside from the length of the trial, the case has been filled with drama. One of the latest issues is defense attorney Brian Steele being sentenced for contempt of court.
I tell you what, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. If you don't tell me who it is, I'm going to put you in contempt.
On Monday, Judge Ural Glanville held Young Thug's attorney in contempt, sentencing him to 10 weekends behind bars for refusing to share how he learned about a meeting between the judge, prosecution, and a key witness. However, on Wednesday, the state Supreme Court stepped in and stayed that sentence. Fellow attorney on the case, Douglas Weinstein, thinks the ruling and the sentence shouldn't be the central focus.
What happened on Monday with Brian Steele
is in some way a distraction from the bigger issue that Mr. Steele was trying to bring up in court that concerns all of us, which is this ex parte meeting, this meeting that was held with the prosecutors and with the judge and without our knowledge. So that is the point of concern that Brian was raising that day, and I would like to see that addressed.
Today in court, defense attorneys asked Judge Glanville to consider a motion for a mistrial because of the meeting they say they weren't informed of and because of what they allege is witness intimidation and coercion.
So I saw the same thing, and it just concerns me that there's this attempt to pressure and intimidate this witness.
Prosecutors disputed such claims, and Glanville denied the latest motion from defense attorneys for a mistrial. The YSL trial is currently the longest in Georgia state history. Steele declined an on-camera interview today. Reporting from the Fulton County Courthouse, Erica Murphy, 11 Alive News.
All right, Erica, thank you so much. 11 Alive has been in court for the YSL RICO trial since the beginning. On our website, we have an interactive timeline of all the key moments in the trial, including the last arrest made in court.
So look, this has been going on for over 2 years. Young Thug's been in jail. The jury was seated back in November. The trial's been going on. It's now June 10th. It's June 13th now. So y'all got to think, this has been going on for 2 years. So the jury has been sequestered dealing with this stuff. Y'all really think this jury is going to be on the side of the prosecution sitting there that long? The way that this judge has handled it. Now, I'm not in Georgia, so I can say it. I think it's highly inappropriate. And the judge was more concerned about who leaked the fact that he had an ex parte meeting. He issued an order. You can see right here on Atlanta News First. This is a copy of his order. This is from the Honorable Ural Glanville, Chief Judge of Superior Court of Fulton County in Atlanta. He's ordered Kenneth Copeland and his attorney, Caleb Bumpus, to show cause why they shouldn't be held in contempt for disclosing information from the ex parte conversation to members of the defense counsel. So in 2 weeks, they got to appear in court on the 25th answering why they shouldn't be held in contempt. Do y'all think that's fair?
I just think it's just bullshit, man. The whole thing was a clown show when they was in the trial. Like, he told them, we're going to take you back to your chambers, right? And then he said, I'm going to be back in 5 minutes. And when he came back in 5 minutes, he still told him, I'm not going to tell you how I got this information. He said, well, we lock you up then. We're going to arrest you.
Well, the attorney, you got to remember this too. The attorney has something called work product and attorney-client privilege that doesn't have to be disclosed to the court. So communications between a lawyer and a client are privileged, and anything dealing with his defense is also privileged. And this is a judge. I was just looking at Ural Glanville. He has been on the bench first off as a judge advocate with the Army. So he's been in law for a long time. He knows better. He's a brigadier general in the Army Reserve.
That's bad, man. A lot of stuff going on, man.
11 years as a Superior Court judge. This is from the Army Reserve website I'm looking at. Wow. A sitting judge is doing this. Excuse me. This is a sitting judge. Who's a general. 25 years. I don't know how old the website. I don't know how old this is, but he's been in the Army Reserve for 30 years. And as a judge advocate, and then you're on the bench in Fulton County. You're a chief judge. He was given a judicial assignment since the 90s, since 1995.
So he knows better. And he was a prosecutor at the solicitor's office in Fulton County. So he's been a prosecutor and he's been a defense attorney. He's also an adjunct professor. So he should know better. Sean, you're quiet, but what do you think of Judge Garrett and Glanville and the way he's handled this trial?
I think he's mishandled this trial, and it's going to lead to this guy getting an appeal and getting cleared on the appeal, and the whole case getting thrown out, because to take 2 years to do a trial is absolutely absurd, and to have a jury sequestered for 2 years is just a waste of the court's money and the prosecutor's office money. I mean, you're just wasting money, time, and resources. A good prosecutor would have been able to get this case cleared within a couple of months at the maximum, and would have made sure that this case didn't go on too long. But for a case to go on this long is absolutely ridiculous and shows the poor leadership of this judge as related to handling his court. I mean, even the O.J. Simpson trial farce didn't go this long. And with each passing day that it goes on longer, it's definitely going to lead to either an acquittal or a mistrial at this point. And if there is a conviction, it's definitely going to get turned over on appeal due to the judicial errors that this guy is basically letting go through his court. So this case is a disaster, and it's one that just shows a just complete lack of leadership from the judge as related to handling these proceedings.
Most definitely.
You know, this thing kind of gets kind of interesting though, because this is a YSL thing, and this got something to do with Fannie Willis too. This is kind of crazy how this all stuff is all tied connected. You remember the guy Mondo? Mondo was another guy in the YSL Carolina. They said that she probably was messing around with. So Nathan Wade might not be the only guy that was in the cookie jar, as they say. But nevertheless, if you
gotta
do
say
remember
alleged.
that,
You gotta
well,
say
I said allegedly. Let's go allegedly. Yes, but we're gonna put it like this: that goes to show you there's a whole lot of trials that she's been involved in, including men, brothers who cases been backed up while she's been running around the country trying to go get Trump. A lot of brothers been in jail waiting for their case to be heard. So this is just another thing that's going on, like you said, Sean, for 2 years. That's kind of ridiculous.
She's got to be replaced in the courts. I mean, she's got to get fired. I mean, if people of Georgia have any common sense, or Atlanta have any, they would get rid of Fannie Willis because she's running a kangaroo court.
Sorry, y'all. I have to step away for a second. Yeah, it is a kangaroo court. It's getting out of hand. Very way out of hand. Do you all want to do something funny? And it slips my mind, but I'm trying to think of what I was going to say. Yeah, you mentioned Fannie and so forth. They actually just recently, I just want to make this point before we get off. One of the Fulton County representatives, I think a state rep, made a decision. They want to actually investigate the district attorney's office and how they're handling these cases. I don't know if y'all heard or saw that, but Bernard, you might have seen it, but they want to launch an investigation into how the DA's office of Fulton County is handling said RICO cases, because the girl who was I think the youngest person ever prosecuted under the RICO statute because of Fannie Willis. So a lot of people, there's a lot of pushback against Fannie Willis, even if they're not saying it.
Yep, you're right. And she just was in another church again. She go to the church quite frequently when things going on, you know. So, you know, they use the pulpit as a way to get us stirred up.
Actually, here's the video here. So shout out to, let me pull that up. Hold on. Let's just play this right here.
Robinson, and I'm here to
There
inform
you.
you that criminal justice reform is needed in the Fulton County Courthouse. There needs to be an ethical and financial audit of their use of Georgia's RICO statute. 11 years ago, I became the youngest defendant in the Atlanta Public Schools cheating trial, the longest, most expensive criminal trial in Georgia history that charged educators with RICO for cheating on standardized tests. It was DA Fonnie Willis's first high-profile RICO case in which she was the lead prosecutor. So far, 2 educators have gone to prison, and currently in Fulton County, RICO is being used against a former U.S. president, musicians, and protesters. I've maintained my innocence. As a first-grade teacher, my test scores didn't even count, and I've never received any bonus money, which was the reason prosecutors claimed I should be charged with RICO in the first place. Although I didn't get any bonus money, prosecutors basically told the jury that since my salary was U.S. currency, I could still be classified as a racketeer. In other states where cheating took place, teachers were fired or had their teaching license suspended or revoked. The DAs did not overcriminalize them. But in Fulton County, educators face 20 to 50 years in prison. On June 25th, my co-defendants and I will be back in court to start the appeals process for a case that began over a decade ago. Millions of taxpayers' dollars have been spent to criminalize teachers for nonviolent offenses. I have 2 children, and I've had to live with the horror of being separated from them. Some of my co-defendants have lost their homes, and recently, one of them was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer.
15 seconds.
Commissioners that have oversight in this area, I'm imploring you to authorize an ethical and financial audit of the Fulton County Courthouse and its misuse of Georgia's RICO statute. Thank you.
Woo! She came to play. She didn't come to play, huh? That was Shani Robinson. Oh, this is the flop on Kate from Caitlin Clark. I saw that video. Yeah, they called the foul on her. Yeah, we have to talk about. All right, but yeah, but that a lot of people are frustrated with her and with Fonnie. But Sean, do you have any final closing thoughts?
When it comes to Fonnie Willis, I mean, she's just incompetent all around. And she's basically proving the point that I talk about is related to the corporate American hood rap. She's single, successful, well-educated, but just is not very smart, not very good at her job, and basically is ruining people's lives with her mismanagement. I mean, she's running the whole district attorney's office like a rib shack. I mean, just throwing RICOs everywhere without any sort of understanding of law or understanding of rule of law. And if the people of Atlanta have any common sense, they've got to vote this woman out of office because she spent more time chasing clout with Trump rather than running the office efficiently. And is just basically looking to try to get her next job with white supremacy, with the Blue Party, and is not looking to go out here and bring the tangible of justice to people of the Atlanta and the city of Atlanta.
Yeah,
I just want to say this. I mean, like I said, good information, Gavin. As always, good show. First off, y'all make sure y'all donate to Gavin. Like you said, he's not being monetized. Unfortunately, that's the way of the world today. Say anything that these clowns don't like, Besides, they got AI running more than half of it anyway. But I will say this, that thing up there you were talking about Billy Porter, or Billy Snorter, how he kissed Biden hand, but it looked like Biden had a clone malfunction the way he froze up for a minute there, and Kamala Harris and them were clapping. But when I looked at it, I said, you know what, man, I get the clown show, Gavin. They had Gladys Knight, Patti LaBelle, and Gladys never bought none of them pies, by the way. Thank you very much, right? Who else up there? Kurt Franklin, Dougie Fresh, you on, right? So, I mean, I just kind of like, who they trying to appeal to? That's how I looked at it. Like, because I know people 25 years old that I don't play basketball with. They don't know them. I know damn Dougie Fresh, Patty Bell, none of these people, man. So it's kind of funny that they really trying to do that, man. It's kind of like last year when they came out LL Cool J out, and he called LL Cool J a boy. So I mean, next thing Joe Biden gonna tell us he was hanging out with Tupac or something. So I mean, it's just another clown show, and it's supposed to be a Juneteenth celebration, but notice they had it a week earlier. So showed you how serious they really were, right?
Yeah. All right. Sean, you want to tell us what your live stream is going to be about tomorrow?
I'm going to be taking one of these bootlicks to the barbecue. I got this little comic book nerd who wanted to make a couple videos about me. So I'm going to have to go out here and take this dude to the barbecue. So get your coleslaw ready. We're going to be having a roast.
All right. Sounds tasty. Bernard, you got a plug in?
Well, I don't know, because I got a couple things. I know I'm going to go live probably one time this week. Gavin, we got to get you back on the show to talk about some of these legal issues, and things like that. Also, I guess the comedy world, which I call it the in-comedy world sometimes, because it can't nobody seem to take a joke these days, obviously, right? But that's just how they got it right now. But like I said, you can, catch me at King BJ Johnson Facebook page, Bernard Johnson, Bernard 1121 Instagram, 1987 BJ1 Twitter. And Gavin, I think you also, I meant to ask you, no, that's Ron Hurt. Well, yeah, I think you got Rumble. You be on Rumble now sometimes too for certain things. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
People are, people are going on Rumble and Anchor and other things like that because, hey man, people are not even fan of this censorship. And hey man, you can get a perfectly fine document and they're gonna tell you it's misinformation. But Gavin be bringing information, and so he's he does his job. So make sure you donate to him. I got to donate to him myself, so I have people donate to him, and Sean also donate to him as well. They've been doing this for a long time, and they actually make a lot of sense for a lot of points they make. Sean, I just want to say this: watch out for New York City because it's gonna be a wild summer.
I know. We're gonna have
some of this one.
Children of the Corn are all about, and we got these guys smoked up. So you got to be very careful wherever you go.
Yes, sir.
Stay strapped. Get your Second Amendment game up. All right, family. I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta roll. Y'all be safe. Be one. Be safe. Be blessed. Y'all can support me by going to the Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle. Thank you, Cheryl Massey. Shout out to Cece. Happy birthday to you. Matter of fact, everybody, Cece, why don't you put your Cash App in the comment section so somebody can give you a little birthday love? All right. If you shout out,
bro.
Yeah, it's good seeing you. Make sure y'all buy some of Sean's books. You could also purchase my book on Kindle, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr. on Amazon Kindle. Shout out to Brother Bernard, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Thank you, Sean. Thank you all, family. Be one, be safe, and be blessed. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Make sure you follow me on Rumble, and I will see you all in the next one. I'll holla. Peace.